Hi, this is Dan Bullard, retired electronics engineer, sitting on the front deck of my houseboat again. It's a little windy today, but it's sunny, and I'm in my t-shirt. And this is, my son gave me this. This is Heisenberg from Breaking Bad, Heisenberg ammo. It looks like a trademark infringement, but I'm not going to say it. Okay, I want to talk to you about I went to another site and tried to ask a question. And boy, I get shot down everywhere I go. This was on the Physics Stackexchange, not Stack Overflow, which is electronics, but Physics Stackexchange. And I thought, well, physicists might be more reasonable, Well, come to find out they're not. So I posted this question about Feynman saying that the human ear cannot hear the difference of the relative phases of the harmonics. And they come up with all these crazy ideas. But I made my point that white noise and an impulse have exactly the same spectrum. What's different is the phase. And that's exactly the thing that Feynman said you can't hear. Humans can't hear the relative phase of the harmonics. Well, you can. Otherwise, every time it rained, people would be calling 911 to report gunfire in their neighborhood, because the rain falling on the roof and gunfire have exactly the same spectrum. It's just that with guns, they're all coalesced into cosine waves. So all the harmonics are cosine waves relative to the fundamental. So the fundamental and all harmonics are cosine waves. With rain, basically it's a zillion little impulses, and they're mixed all together, so you can't discern them, you can't tell them apart, and so it's one fundamental frequency and a lot of harmonics all out of phase, random phase, because raindrops fall randomly relative to each other. Now, go ahead, I'll give you the link, go ahead and look at this thing if you want, comment on it if you want, tell them they're full of crap or whatever, they'll probably pull it down. But I did notice that they're watching some of my videos that I posted on this thing, so maybe I'll make some progress, but I don't know. But this one guy came up with this comment on it, and he said that as for your reference to the fundamental frequency, I'm unclear what that's referring to. The fundamental frequency of an impulse. That is a good question. That really is a good question. What is the fundamental frequency of an impulse? Because the impulse, let's say one impulse happens in the universe for the entire length of the universe. How do you know what the fundamental frequency is? Well, I've done this for years. And so you've got to set some limits. And so what I did was I said, fundamental frequency of an impulse depends on how long you sample. So I said, okay, well, let's say I sample an impulse at 1 megahertz and take 4096 samples. 1 megahertz sample rate, which is pretty low, 4096 samples. That's not an infinite amount of time. Now, how long you can sample depends on, are you firing a machine gun? So if you're firing a machine gun, you've got to sample a long time, but not so long that you get the next shot in there. Otherwise, the fundamental frequency would be 2 shots, or 3 shots, or 4 shots. So you can't do that. So you just want to get 1 shot in there. But if I sample an impulse at 1 megahertz, take 4096 samples, then 1 cycle yields a Fourier frequency of 244.140625 hertz. This makes the fundamental frequency 244.140625 hertz, and the second harmonic is 488.28125 hertz, and the third harmonic is 732.421875 hertz, and so on. The amplitude of every harmonic will be identical, which would make the impulse perfect for testing filters, but the impulse of each harmonic is only 488 microvolts, which would be crushed by any noise. Now that's the problem. That's why I started doing this stuff. That's why I came up with TCF test. Again, I don't think I was alone in doing that, but maybe. This was way back when, before the internet was really booming, I found somebody saying that you couldn't randomize the phase. And so I did that in TCF test, and it worked. It worked wonderful. Now later, much later, probably 10 years later, when I worked for Next Test, my buddy Daver developed periodic white noise. Now, periodic white noise is not really that much better than impulse. It's better, a little bit better, but it's not that much better. My TCF test is superior to that. And my buddy Tin Lamb's thing, his technique was even better than that. I think he only used 3 frequencies. And so when you use 3 frequencies, then the peak to RMS ratio is wonderful, especially if you randomize the phases or adjust the phases a little bit. Tin never told me how he did it, and that's okay. Tin was a genius, or is a genius, and I'm going to leave him to have that. I tried to get him to use periodic white noise, and he like scoffed at it. No way. He worked for Maxim at the time. He worked for my boss, Don Greer, and so Don understood that, Tin had a lot of respect for me, so Don, it basically transferred because Tin is brilliant. Everybody knows Tin's brilliant. So he had respect for me because Tin had respect for me. But Tin, he didn't share all of his secrets, which is fine. That's really great. It'd be great if Tin wrote a book someday. Tin Lamb, that's what you're looking for. So go on Amazon, look for Tin Lamb, see if you can find. There are a lot of Tin Lambs, by the way. So these guys at this physics version of Stackexchange, they like ripped me to shreds. And what they did was, I tried to answer the question. After a day, they popped up and said, "Hey, would you like to answer the question?" I'm like, "Yeah, okay." And so I did. And they immediately shut me down. They immediately deleted my answer and said, "Oh, you can't say that." I tried another technique today. I put up my video of Feynman versus Bullard as an answer. And it's got the sound of Jane's rain stick and the sound of Jane firing Vera, his gun. They have the same spectrum. They're identical. But the difference is the phase. And Feynman said you couldn't hear the difference between the phases. The gunshot, everything is all cosine waves, and the rain stick, everything is random phases. You can hear the difference, so you prove Feynman was wrong. In one episode of Firefly, that was great. So I'm making friends and influencing people. Just be aware of that. I'm not claiming to be a genius, but compared to these people, I am. One guy actually said, sound is more than just amplitude and phase. Oh, really? Let's see. Fourier said something that he said it wasn't true. It's magnitude and phase. That's it. Even if you got 2 ears, you can just treat each one as a separate microphone and digitize it. So these guys come up with these crazy things. Go there and read it and see what you think. These guys are idiots. They're all idiots. I was really hoping for a lot more. I thought physicists might be more reasonable. No way. No way. No way. There's nobody out there that's smarter than me. I guarantee you that. Anyway, so it's a beautiful day, and there's no boat traffic, so yay. So once again, from the river, there's a Dan Bullard. See ya.